Coming up on this episode of One-on-One Sports,
we break down NBA All-Star Weekend,
discuss the Daytona 500,
and talk some way too early NFL draft picks.
All that and so much more.
And it all starts
right now.
Hello and welcome to this episode of One-on-One Sports. I'm Andrew Vendelis.
And I am Matt Holzapfel. A lot happened this past weekend in the world of sports, but before we get started, let's step up to the plate for the quick hitters. Arguably the most recognizable women's skiing name of all time, Lindsey Vonn has officially decided to hang it up after almost 20 years in the sport. Andrew, will Vonn be remembered as the best skier of all time for years to come?
Oh, she's one of the best of all time, no matter what. She's won 4 world overall championships, only one of 2 female skiers to do it. Downhill, Super G, Giant Slalom, and whatever. She's won them all. 82 World Cup races in victory as well. 4 Olympic appearances from 2002 to 2016 and 3 medals, gold in 2010 as well. Need I say more? It sucks that her injuries caused her to miss 2013, 2014, and ultimately led to her retirement. She left it all out on the slopes.
Absolutely, and now that you stole everything I wrote down, I'll just say this. She came into this sport at 17, and at a time when this was a sport dominated by Europe. This was not a U.S.-dominated sport. She was one of the first women in the U.S. to break in and say, listen, I am here. This is our sport. This is our time. Lindsey Vonn is incredible. Like you said, injuries. It sucked to see it happen. She's done so much for the sport. They're incredible.
Definitely. The start of the Alliance of American Football kicked off just a few short weeks ago, and already some of the biggest former NFL stars have been offered contracts by teams in the league. Names like Tim Tebow, Colin Kaepernick are resurfacing in the media after receiving interest from teams. Though they turned down these deals, the AAF is showing us they want recognizable names to headline their league. Matt, is offering former stars like Tebow and Kaepernick a good move or a bad move for the league?
Before I answer that, I just want to say this. You got turned down by Tim Tebow. He even said it was an easy decision. Yikes, that is not good. Also, Kaepernick wanted $20 million plus. That's a whole other deal.
Yeah.
To answer your question, yes, but they have to be careful because you don't want this to turn to the NFL reject league. You have to have big names. I like Trent Richardson, Christian Hackenberg, Will Hill, some guys who people know, even though they weren't stars in the NFL. But you can't have a complete NFL dropout league. That can't happen.
So one thing about the AAF I like, it's entertaining. The play is very sloppy, but it's fun, and so are the rules. Very high risk, high reward.
It's everything the NFL isn't, right?
The first thing the AAF needs to do is make it through the season financially. I mean, reports have come out they might not even make a profit by the end of the season. They're borrowing $250 million just to make it through week 2 of the league. And on top of that, they're only paying their players $250,000 over in 3-year, $250,000 deals. So this relates to talent because, you know, people like Tebow and Kaepernick or names like that, even if you went for someone like Johnny Manziel or Jameis Winston for that matter. Sorry, Jameis, I know I keep picking on you for the AAF, but the XFL is only a year away from launch. But still, not $750K in 3 years. That's not what they're going to look for. And if the AAF can't pay off the season itself, how are they going to pay off talent?
Yeah, this is a big concern, especially because the first week was so special. They outrated some NBA games on TNT in prime time for their first week of the season, and that's phenomenal. They show a lot of promise, like you said. They have good players and players who are good despite not being in the NFL. We've seen great plays. We saw the behind-the-back quarterback pass. That was incredible. But like you said, the money is a problem. I'm concerned, but I hope they make it.
Yep. I hope they do because it's a good alternative, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Though it will not be official until March 13th, the Baltimore Ravens have reportedly traded quarterback Joe Flacco to the Denver Broncos in exchange for a 4th-round pick. Andrew, I know you have more than a few things to say about this, so what are your gut reactions to this trade?
I don't want to talk about it. No, I'm just kidding. Strap in, Matt. This is going to be a long one. So, Flacco's better than Keenum, yes?
Yes.
Cool. Anyone trying to compare the 2017 stats, or 2018 stats, my bad, between the two are absolute fools. Flacco's got the better long-term resume, as we know, but my only question, why Denver? Why Denver? We know Flacco struggles when he doesn't have a good supporting cast of receivers on his team. Denver doesn't have the best offensive talent. What, Emmanuel Sanders, I guess Phillip Lindsay, but you know, you lost Demaryius Thomas, you lost like your key receivers. Why not Jacksonville or Tampa Bay? People with more than one star receiver and the team with like supplementary talent that can help Flacco not eye down the receivers like this every time he throws the ball. Baltimore won this deal, but eventually, when it eventually goes through, but Denver isn't winning or losing, and that's why I'm scratching my head on Denver's part. Baltimore, He did everything he could for us. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it. All right, Matt, I'll let you go now.
This guy's good. All I have to add to that is that, like you said, he's 34. He's in the end of his career. My big problem with this is kind of a we want to win now mentality, right? Because this isn't 3 years. Joe Flacco's going to be 37.
Yeah, this isn't 2012.
So they're saying they want to win now. My problem is, can they? You mentioned all the talent on their roster. Yes, Lindsey's good. Sanders, you don't have Thomas anymore. This doesn't look like a win now team.
No.
My other problem with this is that they have the 10th pick. Drew Lock, Kyler Murray, Dwayne Haskins, the odds that they're all gone by number 10, I think are really low. I would like to see them go that direction. They still could, but I think it's more unlikely now that they have Flacco.
Like I literally looked at my phone and I went, Denver. That's not a reaction that you want if you're a Denver fan.
Yeah, absolutely. They've had quarterback problems ever since Osweiler had that really oddly good season. Manning won the Super Bowl,
that was
and
a
they
weird
both
time.
dispersed. They all went their separate ways.
Rocky came back.
Yeah, we've had Trevor Siemian. We've had just a bunch of
Paxton
bad
Lynch,
guys.
remember him?
Lynch, yeah.
First round pick.
And
Everybody
they almost started Chad Kelly. Oh my God, Chad Kelly. The Broncos have a lot to figure out. I think trading for Joe Flacco is not a bad move.
But it's not a good
They're not going to win the Super Bowl with him, though.
No, they're not even going to win the division.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. New Orleans Pelicans star Anthony Davis's public trade request appears to have backfired as the Pelicans have become an absolute dumpster fire of a team. New Orleans could plan to hold him out for the rest of the season in hopes of preventing him from injury so that he could possibly be traded in the offseason. The Pelicans were informed by the NBA that they would be fined $100,000 per game for every game that Anthony Davis sat out while healthy. Matt, is this a double standard for the league to crack down on a star and not crack down on someone like J.R. Smith or Carmelo Anthony?
No, and shame on you, New Orleans Pelicans. This is shameful, and here's why. Healthy scratches are different. Players need rest.
Yeah.
No one is debating that. And so when Melo and J.R. Smith or whoever sits out exactly, LeBron especially, when they sit out back-to-back games, there's a reason. You cannot sit your star player out because he asked for a trade. Just because you didn't get it done, that's your fault.
Yeah.
You can't punish him for what you couldn't do. He asked for a trade. You didn't get it done. Play AD.
And now what's bothering me is how picky New Orleans is being about it.
Oh, yeah.
They're trying to re-engage talks about this with Anthony Davis, and it shows that they don't want a double standard, but I like the way the NBA is handling this. They're holding up the 2017 rest rule. They don't want, competition to diminish by resting players, because nobody watches a game where it's not entertaining.
Who's going to watch the Pelicans without Anthony Davis?
I'd love to see Anthony Davis go out there, and even if he hates every second he's playing on the Pelicans, just pad those stats.
He's
make yourself
still
a
their
commodity.
best player.
Yeah, he's a top 10 talent in the NBA, and for the Pelicans to sit him would be cheating the fans who were paying to see him.
Absolutely.
That's all the time we have for the quick hitters.
But when we come back, we'll talk some NBA All-Star Weekend.